Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and today we're looking at the brand new Hornby J15 class Great Eastern Railway Blue number 564, and that is product code R30407, obviously from Hornby. Now this is a brand new model. It arrived yesterday as of recording, and I am actually blown away. So let's get some of the general details out the way first. This Loco is £139.99 if you buy it from Hornby. However, retailers like Rails of Sheffield have it at a 10% discount for £125.99. Now, this is a great price for this Loco, and I'm going to explain why. But first things first, let's get it out the box. Oh. Which I've already done. Yes, so this is the J15 and it is gorgeous. If I just bring it up to the camera now, which does bring me on to my first point. This is based on an older Hornby tooling. As you can see, the locomotive and tender are coupled using screws and a 4-pin plug. Not the newer push together fitting, which is a little disappointing, but it's not the end of the world. It does mean, however, you do have to pick the loco and tender up together. You can't uncouple them and move them independently. Now, on the subject of being an older tooling, this Loco also only has an 8-pin DCC socket. Not really a problem, but it does mean that you're going to have to get an older decoder or an older standard decoder in order to fit into here. Luckily, Hornby makes the HM7000 in an 8-pin variety with sound. This is editing Harry to also say most manufacturers still make 8-pin decoders despite it being the older standard. So ESU, Bachmann, I can't think of any extras right now, but other manufacturers do make 8-pin decoders that should fit into this Loco. So that's probably what I'm going to fit in here eventually, when I get around to it, at some point. We'll see how it goes. Now, Hornby hasn't stated whether or not this is a 5-pole or a 3-pole motor. That leads me to believe it's probably a 3-pole motor. Again, you'd like to see a 5-pole, but we'll see how it performs on track before I start making decisions on whether it's good enough. But that's the negatives. Let's talk about some of the positives. And there are quite a few. The first thing is, the livery application on this Loco is gorgeous. It's got a fantastic satin finish, detailed. That looks like tampo printing to me. Yep, tampo printed lettering with the drop shadow effect, and plenty of die-cast metal. Just feeling it. The running plate is metal, and I'm pretty sure the boiler is as well, but we'll see what it weighs later, because that's ultimately what matters. Not what it's made out of, but how heavy it is. Because if it's too light and it doesn't have enough torque, it won't be able to pull prototypical trains. And that's what we want to see. Now let's talk about some of the other details on the Loco. We've got sprung buffers, front and rear. We've got a lovely pre-fitted coal load, which is one of the better ones I've seen. It's still not 100% realistic, like you can still tell that this is a plastic molding, but it's so much better than some of the other Locos I've bought, even modern Locos. I think this is really good looking. So continuing from the back, we've got the inside of the cabin. It's really difficult to show this. Let's bring it up. Refocus, there we go. It's kind of hard to see because I can't take the tender off. But the inside of the cabin is brilliantly detailed, loads of colour, all the instruments picked out, and even the gauges, if you can just see that, have indicators and the lines drawn on, and it looks amazing. Now, I would have loved to see flickering firebox on this Loco, but for £126, can't really complain about missing certain, how would you say, premium features like a flickering firebox. Not really going to complain about that. Then moving forward again, looking at the locomotive itself. Let's bring this back up to the camera. Refocus, there we go. As I've said before, a brilliant finish, metal handrails, tons of separately fitted detail all along the boiler and footplate. Gorgeous semi-matte effect on the smoke box. It does look to be more matte than the boiler. I don't know if it is a separate paint or if it's just their black paint they've used for it. It just is inherently a little bit duller than the boiler paint, but it looks gorgeous. And then on the front of the smoke box, we've got a separately fitted smoke box dart and really clean and concise painting over the hinge just there. And then on the buffers, again, we've got the number painted, got a hook. It doesn't look like it comes with screw link couplings to attach to that, and it doesn't come with a front coupling pre-fitted, but it is supplied in the box. This is a gorgeous Loco. Like, the colour is fantastic, the satin sheen, fantastic, the detailing, fantastic. But now that we've spoken about the extra bits, let's have a little look at them. So it's in the older style Hornby box. Again, this is an older tooling, so it's not the end of the world. The box, however, is up to Hornby standards, and mine arrived. Oh no, the ice cube packaging's gone for a fall. Anyway, the locomotive arrived in perfect condition. Mine came from Rails of Sheffield, so there was a second layer of boxing around it and cushioning. I have seen reports, if you're buying these from Hornby, they come just in the protective cardboard container that just literally just goes around this box. So, like to see better from Hornby on that. But as long as the locomotives arrive in one piece, the boxes are doing their jobs. So one of the first things they've got is etched nameplates. If I just refocus the camera. You get etched nameplates, one for each side. You also get a coupling to fit to the front of the locomotive, brake rigging, and vacuum pipes, it looks like, yes. Loads of extra details to be fitted, all very well moulded and very well made. So far, this locomotive is looking like a steal at £125.99. But the most important thing about it is, how does it run? So let's take it up to the track and see how it goes. And we're back. Right, I realised before I forgot to mention something quite important, the actual weight of the locomotive. So let's do that now. So, as I said before, this locomotive and tender are permanently coupled together. Let's just turn the scales on. So here we go, popping it on there. And that's coming in at roughly 233 grams. Now, considering this is quite a small locomotive, that's really not bad. That is a decent amount of weight for such a tiny loco. So now, let's get it onto the actual track, see how it performs, and then we'll run some trains to see how well it does pulling a prototypical load. So here we are with the J15 on the tracks. I have to say, it looks stunning. With the lights in my office, you can really see the sheen or the shine on the top of the boiler, and the fact that the smoke box is a little bit duller looks amazing. But now we have the most important part. Does it work? Oh, turning it up, turning power up, a little bit more. Oh, look at her go. Let's turn it change direction and give it another go, see if we can get a nice crawl out of it. Look at that. That is so smooth. Can we get it a little bit slower? Ooh. Oh no, it stalled. Give it a little bit more. That is very slow. That is so unbelievably slow. Let's bring it back. Now for testing, I'm using the standard Bachmann train set controller, because if it performs this well with a cheap controller like this, just imagine what it can do on a fancy Gauge Master controller. That is a fantastic Loco, absolutely stunning. But now, I guess it's time to send it around the layout and see how it does. I think I'm going to send it about 40% power, 40%. Ooh, we'll send it forwards though. And she's off. Let's have a little follow of it around the layout. So here we are going around 4th radius curves, not a care in the world. Down a quick straight, coming up to the 2nd 4th radius, going around the Heljan EWS locomotive, back round to the start. Absolutely amazing. It looks so good going round. Look at her go. Absolutely amazing. Let's just wait for her to get back round to the start. I do apologise for the lighting changes. I've done my best to light my office, but it's not as good as it could be. So that was it running around the 4th radius curves. Beautifully smooth, very quiet. There's a slight wisp from the motor, but it's, if you installed sound or had any background sound while you're running this, you won't hear it. It's very quiet, very smooth, 10 out of 10. The crawl, I think, is amazing for this Loco. It's slow enough that you'll be able to do some careful shunting or slow couplings up to coaches. I think it's more than good enough. Is it perfect? No. With my Bachmann controller, I'm struggling to get really any slower than you saw. It starts to cut out any slower than that. That could be my controller, it could be the Loco. Either way, I don't actually care if it can do better. What it can do with a cheap controller is more than good enough. But something I did forget to mention. This Loco has all-wheel pickup, which I shall show to you now. So I'm going to lift up the Loco. So the locomotive driving wheels will not be picking up power, just the tender. And I'm going to turn on the power. And look at it go. So that is all-wheel pickup, which is fantastic to see on a locomotive of this price. It means even if you have some dirty track or insole frog points, I have electro frog, but if you have insole frog, not a problem. This locomotive will run absolutely fine. But now, the big test. Let's put it on the 1st and 2nd radius curves to see how well it does. Hornby says this locomotive can do 2nd radius, but can it do it well? Let's find out now. So here we are on the 1st and 2nd radius loop of my track. Now, what we're going to be looking at here is two things. One, does it derail? But the other thing we're going to look to, if it doesn't derail, does it slow down? And if so, how much? Because at the end of the day, that's what really matters, right? You don't want it to get stuck on the curve and burn the motor out because it can't spin its wheels. So, I guess let's see how it goes. Sending it now. I'm going to try and keep it nice and slow. But I'm using a HM4000 controller for this, and it doesn't have very good low speed control. That's a bit fast, but it'll do. Right, let's go mobile and see how it does. It's looking good. So that's 2nd radius there, coming to a curved point, keeping it going. That's 2nd radius it's on right now. Going into 1st, that is 1st radius curves it is on. Coming around to Pico small radius points, back into 1st, and then 2nd radius curves. No derailments, no slowdowns, plenty of torque. Even over my dodgy track work, it is a-okay. This locomotive is truly amazing. Though to be fair, as an 060, it should be able to navigate these. Looks like there is a touch of slowdown on the 1st radius curves, but that's to be expected. 1st radius is incredibly sharp. Gorgeous, absolutely amazing. So there you have it, the newly released Hornby J15. It can do first, second, third radius curves. Oh, and fourth, obviously. It can do pico small radius points. It's got all-wheel pickup. But there is one thing that I want to show you that I've missed so far, and that is the flywheel effect on this locomotive. So I'm going to send it forwards a bit. And I will say when I'm cutting the power. Cutting the power now. Let's do that again. Bringing it back, cutting the power now. You can see that there is a fairly big flywheel effect on this locomotive. I have no idea if there is a flywheel inside of it. Hornby doesn't say there is, but if recent history with Hornby in their online listings has showed us you can't always trust them, even when they don't say anything about a feature. So we'll see. Based on its performance, I'd be inclined to believe there's a 5-pole motor in here. Editing Harry, back here again. Yes, this locomotive does indeed have a 5-pole skew-wound motor, and it does have 2 chonky flywheels pre-installed. Hornby does not say this on their website. They really should. These are great features. Anyway, back to the video. It performs really well, very slow, and we didn't see any cogging. Well, we saw a little bit running slow, but I wonder if that was just the motor sticking or something. Either way, it performs really, if that's a 3-pole motor, it's a great 3-pole motor. This locomotive performed amazingly. I guess all that's left to do is to run some trains and roll the video. So, we're back from the layout and back down on the table. And I think this locomotive is a gorgeous little runner. The crawl doesn't seem to be great, but there is definitely a little flywheel effect in there. I don't know if that's just because of its well-made mechanism or if there is a flywheel. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take it apart for this video. And Hornby hasn't said whether or not it's got a flywheel, so I'm inclined to believe it doesn't. Now for DCC fitting, the 8-pin socket is located in the tender, and based on the size of the tender, because there isn't a pre-fitted speaker, I think at least the Hornby HM7000, you'd easily be able to get one of the larger speaker enclosures in this tender. So now let's talk value. Yes, £126 for a brand new locomotive is a good price, because you're not really going to find many railways graded locos for that sort of money today. Whether we like it or not, that's just a fact. But is this worth it? Absolutely. It's a great little runner. It's quiet, it's smooth, doesn't quite crawl as well as I'd like, but how often are you actually going to be crawl? And it does go slowly. Honestly, I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's missing some features I'd like to see. I'd like to see included 3-link or chain couplings for the front and rear. It's not the end of the world. I'd like a firebox glow to really illuminate up the gorgeous cab that's on this loco. But again, £126, I can forgive this. I'd also love to see a version of this, but fitted with Hornby's water cold piezoelectric smoke system. Don't know if that's even possible, but And also, from what I've read online, not everyone's a big fan of the smoke systems. I love them, but hey ho. So yeah, I give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's gorgeous, it's a great runner, it looks amazing, and the price is just right. These are still in stock with Rails of Sheffield. However, it does look like Hornby's own store is sold out now. So if you're looking for one, I check Rails, the Model Centre, D-Rails. They seem to have these in stock as of recording. So I'm hoping to get this out within a couple of days, so hopefully they're still there. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and let me know what you think of the first locomotive review on this channel. I really enjoyed this. I've got some more of these planned, but if you have any feedback, please let me know down in the comments so I can improve and give you guys information you want to see. Once again, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more from me, click that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next one.